Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids and we're back for some more Mardek. And of course, last time we, unfortunately, had to turn in our yellow fairy, which was doing wonders for us, but it did mean that we picked up an additional dreamstone in the process, which means that we only have a few more before we have all of them. So that is the goal today, is to get all the remaining dreamstones, or at least all the ones that we can thus far. So that means that we will be heading back through to the other area of Lifewood so that we can get out of Dreamwood right now, because we cannot teleport out of here when we are in the Dream Realm. Because, well, our remaining Dreamstones, they're not going to be here. Already picked up everything that we need in this area. Ooh, no. Pixies, they are, of course, at times tricky. Lore Sturge could take 2 turns to take it out, as long as Elohim doesn't get confused here. And I do think we put on some clarity on people, except for apparently not Solar. Solar decides to attack Elohim, but unfortunately, second round of Lore Surge takes out the fairy. Okay, so let's keep moving here. And just double check here, we're heading in the right direction, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Okay. So we will actually be headed to a rather distant location for both of the Dreamstones that we are hoping to pick up today. To use the Lore Surge here as well, I think. That might have enough damage to take both of these enemies out. Well, Solar says that doesn't even matter. And one of those Dreamstones, we actually, in some ways, did miss it. We went to the area where it was before, had the opportunity to pick it up, but apparently I just forgot. So, my apologies there. But now that we are back in Lifewood, that does mean that we are once again allowed to warp out of here. So let's do that. And we will need to go up to the northern continent. So we'll head through the warport. And yes, of course, once upon a time, there were security officers here that tried to stop us from making it through, accused us of being not so nice, but we taught them a lesson or two, and now they'll let us through. But the 2 places where we are going to be headed is, actually, there are 2 locations that require a similar set of circumstances in order to get the Dreamstones out of them. Yeah, we'll try to steal our Warport Pass. Never mind the fact that we have 2 of them, so you actually could take one of them and still be okay, but nah, that's beside the point. Okay, so which one do we want to go for first? I think, why don't we go for over here. We will find that if we go back to Lake Quirr, you say, what? Why are we headed over here? Well, of course, the Water Temple is back in this direction, and this is the one that in many ways we missed. And that's my bad, so we'll head back down here. And, I mean, all the enemies we encounter in this area should be a breeze, right? These are all Chapter 2 enemies, and relatively early Chapter 2 enemies at that, so I would be surprised if any of them could damage us, let alone cause us any challenges. And you could even make the case that perhaps we should just skip all these fights here, but I mean, if we use Lore Sturge, it's pretty simple to take them out, and then Solar steps in every now and again for a little bit of damage. And we pick up some antidotes as well, which I'm pretty sure we have over 100 of, so sure, maybe we don't need those all that much, but... And the experience? Yeah, the experience is also pretty insignificant. A little bit of coins? Yeah, also pretty small amount of coins. Okay, so yeah, you know, it's not the most rewarding of fights here. I get your point. But we're on our way. So, now we will of course need to be able to breathe underwater. And so I believe we have our Oxsail somewhere in our item storage, or perhaps someone is still holding onto it right now, but we'll just have to double check real quick, because we will of course need that to go underwater here. Here it is, okay. Mardek, why don't you hold on to that for now? And who do we actually want to bring down with us? Why don't we mix things up a little bit here? And I think that the people who we have perhaps seen the least of, at least as of late, have been Donovan and Charla. So let's swap them in. And then we also... I mean, we saw Zach doing some pretty crazy things in his arena, and he is now arguably the strongest member of our party. He is, of course, the highest level member of our party right now, other than Mardek, since he's all the way up at 52. So in some ways, I feel like it almost feels like cheating when we use him, because he is so strong. But I do want to give them a chance to show that off a little bit more, and then maybe we'll give someone else a chance to pop in. So, let us, before we head down here, make sure that we have actually used the ox sails, otherwise, of course, we will not be able to breathe underwater. And so we did pick up a lot of these back earlier in Chapter 3 when we were initially planning on going into the Water Temple. And so for that reason, we didn't have to go back and make sure we had more, but you can go back to the shaman in Gosnor, who's actually Toothwood, and he can be the one to give you more if you are totally out of your ox sail. So even if you used up all your ox sail the first time you went down here, you can go back to get more. So not a huge problem. It's just a little bit convenient if you can pick it all up at one time and load up and just stash it somewhere in your item storage. Okay, and also I paid precisely 0 mind as to what items, if any, people have equipped right now. So yeah, we'll just throw on whatever things people happen to have in their inventories, and it does seem as though I'm expecting people will generally have their arena rewards, so that's probably not a bad thing. Give them the chance to use their new items, and for some people that does mean that they will come with new skills. For others, in the case of Zach at least, it is not, but that should be fine. And Mardek actually does also need something else in here. I don't know if I can throw the mine first of all. I'm not sure that's going to make a huge difference, but as for Donovan and Charlotte, do you two have enough items to actually equip things? It does seem like that's the case. Of course, Donovan being a fire elemental character in a water area, I think we initially brought him into the Water Temple, and we were asking ourselves the same thing. Is this a good idea? No, probably not. But still, this is a low enough level area, of course, higher level than what we saw previously when we were above water, but still, I think we should be fine here. And unfortunately, it looks like Charla, we do not have an additional accessory item for you unless we went to the Warlord's Soul here that we picked up in the arena. Gives additional strength and HP, which is probably best for more of a physical attacking person. So maybe we throw this on, say, Zach, and instead give you the green beads, which give some earth resistance, +1 vitality. Maybe not terribly relevant, but I don't think we need to be perfectly optimized right now. One thing I do want to make sure that we do, though, is that I believe for both Donovan and Charla, yes, their arena items that we just put on give them magic offensive reactions. So for Donovan, it's Numb, and for Charla, it's Stun. So make sure that we have those equipped and ready to go, and then we will keep on moving. So, of course, the Water Temple did have those series of switches and puzzles that made it rather difficult to navigate it, so we will need to go through at least a few rooms here, and my hope is that none of those doors are blocking us right now, so we can make it through here, and I think that's all we need, because is the room we're going for, I think it's this one down here, if I'm not mistaken. It is. Okay. So there is one section over here that we did not explore. Let me check. Does it technically show up as a chest on the map? It does not. So that is tricky in that case. Let's see. I believe it is not over here. Perhaps over in this direction, might be in the lower part of this area here. We're looking for another one of those beds, except this time we should find one that is a little bit, well, unmade. This bed seems to have been slept in recently. What's that sparkling? There was a dreamstone under the covers. It seems to have formed recently. You take it. Ah, see? The dreamstone that didn't even show up as anything interactable on our map, so totally flew under my radar here, but that was one of the dreamstones that we needed, so let's take a quick look at that. Here it is. What did we just do? I don't even know if that was it, or, I'm sort of confused. It was really nice, though. I don't think I've ever been so happy. I just hope I didn't do it wrong. Maybe he was disappointed, but he seemed sort of as confused as I was. And what was that thing? It was so weird, yet strangely appealing. I wonder if I should wake him or let him sleep. I'm pretending to be asleep, but I haven't really slept all night. I don't want to fade out of consciousness. Not now. Like this. I don't want to do anything embarrassing to ruin it. What was that? Was that done properly? I think we're both confused. I hope I did it right. It's not like I have any experience with the girls. I bet he's had all kinds of things like this happen to him with other girls while I was down here in this temple, alone, naive. I bet it showed, and I bet I can't compare to those other girls. Maybe I should talk about this with her, but I don't want to seem like an idiot. I don't want her to think ill of me. I enjoy this so much. The company, the closeness, the comfort. But I don't know if it's right. I don't know if we can keep this up. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I was meant to have died a hero. Now I'm in heaven for being a failure. No, this isn't right. Besides, I've stolen this girl, haven't I? Some friend I am. I want to stay. I really, really do. But I don't deserve this. I need to leave before I get too comfortable. She'll probably be glad of me being gone anyway. I don't want him to leave. Yet, I don't want him to stay and then get annoyed at me when I do things wrong all the time. If I'm alone, then I can't disappoint anyone to their face. Shame is almost too much when that happens. Maybe I should recommend that we go and rejoin him, or something. I have been thinking. What is it? I need to get back out into the world. You have your duty here. I have mine out there. Maybe I should go. No! I must have done something horribly wrong and driven him away. I hope I don't cry from the pain. That's I see. I think this will upset us both, but I don't know if I can stay with you here. I think I should go as soon as I can, before I change my mind. This is something that I need to do. You understand? I understand. I think. Sorry. Okay. So, more on what perhaps was a continuation of other dream zones that we've seen previously. It has been a while, of course, since we last saw some of those dream zones. Got a lot of them in a quick succession, I think, in and around when we were first going into the water temple like this. But, let's see if we can piece some of that together. Then we do need to get out of here. The next one, of course, we don't find an additional dream zone in here. And can we warp while we're in the water temple? We may or may not be able to. Let's double check. Mardek? Yes, you can do it. Okay. In that case, let's head over to the other place where we have our other dream stone we're looking to pick up. And it is another place that we haven't been to for quite some time. I mean, quite some time. The gem mine. And one of the other reasons why I thought maybe we do want to bring back Charla and Donovan is because this is, of course, one of the places where we first met them. And we split up way back then, and Charla and Donovan, I believe, went down the right route here, and then Dugan and Mardek together went down one of the other routes in order to make it to the bandit leader. So we'll head back over here, because if you may remember, there was some kind of room at the end of this area here, and these are, of course, other enemies back from Chapter 2 that are unlikely to pose much of a threat to us. And this one even is light elemental, so it is very weak to dark, so, I mean, you know what we have to do to this one, right? You know we have to do this. And actually, everyone still has the bubbles around their faces. That is from using the oxales here. So, yeah, turns out they stick around for a little while longer. And that might be a good thing, because as I was saying, there's something similar between these two dreamstones that we need. That similarity being that, well, we'll fight low-level enemies on our way to them. Yes, however, that wasn't really what I meant. That is perhaps also a similarity, yes. But it is actually that for both of them, we will need to have this ability to breathe underwater. And we tried to go into this area previously, back in, I believe it was back in Chapter 2 when we initially tried to do this, but we weren't able to do so. There was this area behind where we first met the bandit chief, where we... Oh, nope, that's the wrong way. Oh, that's very much the wrong way, in fact. So you may remember that when we fought the bandit chief, there was sort of like a... Again, wrong route. There was sort of like a area afterward that had a bunch of loot in it. That's where we first found our initial bandit leather, and I think also one of the fire pendants. And in there was a location that looked suspiciously like somewhere where we could go underwater, but when we tried to use, at the time I believe it was even Emla's ability to breathe underwater, Aqua Lung, we were not able to make it happen. However, this time around, we might find that our fortune is a little bit better. We'll try it out. And I also think that Charla is currently using a very weak weapon. Not that that's making a huge difference here. I don't exactly think she needs her strongest weapon to take out these bats. And also, Donovan is using it right now. But Charla, I suppose we can be nice and make sure that you get, is it Fire Fang, which is the next best after the obelisk here? I think it is, so might as well do that. This is where we initially fought the group of bandits, who looked like just one bandit, but turned out to be 4 blokes. Okay, and then over here, I think we may have actually taken the longer of the 2 routes that take us down this area, but so be it. We'll make our way back. It's like a walk down memory lane, of course, because another thing is that if we head back down here, toward where we encountered the bandit chief, you'll see that save crystal there, and you might remember something else happened in this area. Something of great significance that at the time may have seemed quite minor. However, it turns out that it played a very large role long-term, that being that right near this save crystal, we first encountered Gope, and when we encountered Gope, we had the option to either fight him or spare him, and you may have remembered me saying, do not, whatever you do not fight him. This may seem like a minor thing, it is a huge thing, because of course, by saving Gope, we got one of the Trilobite keys, which allowed us to enter the Cambria area in Chapter 2, and in Chapter 3 we've seen Gope as, well, he has reinvented himself as a trader of sorts, and has a knack for getting in all these crazy places, even in temples and Miasmal Citadel. Somehow he finds a way down there, so yeah, he's putting his skills to good use. And yes, I don't think we've taken any damage yet, which is probably a good sign here. I would be concerned if we did. That would be rather sad if our equipment was not strong enough to outright mitigate all the damage from these guys here. So this is the spot I'm referring to. It does look very similar to the area that we used to get into Lake Quirr, so we initially thought that maybe there was a way to go down here. However, at the time we were not able to. I think we only checked in Chapter 2, but we did not head back here for Chapter 3. This time, though, we can jump in the lake from here, but are we ready? I believe we are, assuming that we still have the hawk sails active right now, which I believe we do. And so, yes, we do make it down here. And it's the gem mine underwater. Okay, there is one chest. Are there enemies down here? What gives? Well, it's actually a much larger area than I would have thought. Loops around. There are enemies, yes. Curious as to what level they are. 26. That is actually 30 for one of them. That is actually quite high. Miasmal Citadel goes up to 34 for comparison's sake, and that is the highest level area we've been to thus far. So yeah, these guys, I think, are stronger than the normal Water Temple version of these Angry Cods. That's where we have previously seen these guys. Of course, Zack can still one-shot them with maximum damage with Sin Strike, so still shouldn't be much problem here. But let's use some Thunderbolts, see if we can take them out before they get the chance to hit us. Preserve our perfect record here of not taking any damage while we're in these lower level areas, but yeah, I suppose in some ways this is not one of those low level areas, it's hidden. Okay, but here we have a Dreamstone. So this, Dreamstone 14, let's check it out. And the locations in which we find them, they are somewhat tied to the person that the Dreamstone is about. In case that hasn't been clear, that's perhaps another hint that could help you figure out who Dreamstones are about if you haven't always been able to piece them together. But with that in mind, who might this be? Who did we encounter in the gem mine? These obstinate ponderings of elemental crystals, of root magic and deep power, how they torment me so. My whole being seems drawn to those stones, as if I have no choice but to spend my life searching for them. But why? Why? Destiny and fate are meant to be merely pretentious jargon used by knicker-wetting, dew-eyed tykes, or out-of-touch philosophizing old priests who don't know their arse from their ankles. They're not meant to be so real, so palpable. I have thoughts, sometimes. Deep thoughts. Are they dreams, or are they memories? Or both, in some fashion. In them, I am amazing. Yet, I'm also a dog? It is most strange. I feel drawn to the crystals like any other dog would feel drawn to the arses of their ilk. Yet, I don't want to sniff them, but to utilize their power. I do not understand it, and I sense I am drawn to madness by this deep, deep craving. I'd rather just be a grand bandit spending my time in a cave or a palace, bathing in glittering piles of ill-gotten lucre. I don't even want world domination or the bloody crystals. But what is the I? What is the me? Surely some part of my gloriously sharp as a scimitar mind wants them, and I cannot shut it up. Is that me, deep down, more than the part that doesn't? Which is the madness? Ah, I'm becoming one of those knicker-touching, dew-arsed philosophizers now. Be gone, thoughts of nonsense. Leave me be. I need to focus on what I need to do next. What do I need to do next? Oh, right, I see. I need to do what I can to find the crystals. A slave to myself. I am. Okay, so that one there, perhaps one of the easier ones to figure out, but I won't tell you just yet as to who exactly it was. And with that, that means that we've now picked up all of our dreamstones here, except for one. Where do we get that last one, you ask? Well, as it turns out, I don't think we can yet take it. The area is not yet somewhere that we have been. But maybe, now that we've picked up as many dreamstones as we have, that creepy, judgmental tree in the Dreamwood might be able to do whatever it is that it does when we have enough dreamstones. So, now let's take out these angry cods here, because we don't need them, do we? Okay. Zach annihilates one, and Charlotte can take care of the others. And I don't know, it could very well be that those are the only types of enemies you can find down here, though I am a little bit intrigued by how this area is so far removed from everything else that it seems like there's that potential we could find something else down here. But, of course, I believe that was the only chest in this area, so the only question would be, are there other enemies that are unique to this area? Maybe not. Well, perhaps we're about to find out. No more angry cods, or the same, so perhaps it is exclusively them. And I'm also assuming that we can't warp while we're underwater, but I mean, theoretically, that would be something we're looking to do quite soon. No, we can't. Okay. That would be a little silly. But here we go. Now we can somehow manage to swim up to the surface, even though we have a bunch of heavy armor and weapons on us. Just don't ask too many questions about it, right? I assume we've also picked up all the chests in this area here. Yeah. So there were many in here previously. This was the bonus room of sorts after the bandit fight in Chapter 2. But now we should be able to warp. And now we will be looking to head back down the southern continent to where we were previously, that being that area with the creepy judgmental tree. Does it have its own name? Yeah, probably. My guess is that that is not its official name, but I would like to believe that that's just as relevant of a name, given the situation in which we find it, the way in which it treats us, the way in which it peers at us, and says that no, number of dreamstones you have, I don't like it. Not good enough for me. Well, this time, you will be impressed, I assure you, creepy judgmental tree. So let's head back to Lifewood. And do I remember when exactly we need to go into the Dreamwood version of the forest? Good question. The answer is possibly. Possibly. I think we go to the middle version while we are still in Lifewood. And then once we get into the middle area, that's when we transition, right? Because that's the only way we can make it all the way up north, which is where the tree is. So, let us now perhaps annihilate you. And then, oh, how dare you deal 1 damage to us? That is not allowed. Carla, I'm not sure you're going to be able to take out these green souls here, but you might not be able to do that. You cannot. They will go next. I mean, I suppose this is no longer the really low-level areas anymore, so maybe our run is up on that stuff. We also still have the little bubbles around our faces even now. But, you know, maybe we'll just make a fashion statement with it. So let's head up north, back to that area where we were previously, and oh, Charlotte, you also got poisoned. We can do something about that. And Remove Taint is a more MP efficient way of removing that poison, but Remove Evil can do it too, and we have not yet mastered Remove Evil, and this will proc it one more time, so in some ways it does help. And of course we could just use the save crystal, but I believe is in the middle of the forest here and restore that MP that we just used, so really no downside to it. There we go. And I believe this is the area where we will want to transition into Dreamwood. So let's do that. And now we head up here. And we will head back to where we were previously. And let's just make sure that we have some people who have clarity on. Okay, Mardek does, because that is, remember, the passive ability that makes it so that we are immune to confusion. And those pixies, they can cause some problems when they confuse absolutely everyone. Mardek is the only one who has mastered that ability. It is, not great. Not great right about now. I mean, at least that gives us one person, at the very least, who will not be confused, if not more. And we may just never run into those enemies. That would be kind of nice if that was the case. But we'll see. And these guys, I mean, they are still relatively low levels here, so not a huge problem. Big damage is, of course, hard to mitigate, so he will still hurt us, yes, but we can take it down, no problem. Get some Fig Essence as well. So it'll be up here. And through this area right here. As long as we get over there. I suppose we still have a little ways to go, and a forgotten face in the way shouldn't be much problem. I assume that all these people are, yeah, at least have no resistances to dark. Therefore, Zach should be able to take out just about any and everyone. I don't think there's anyone who has 100% dark resistance, because that is the only way you can stop Zach from taking someone out, basically, at this point. 50% resistance, if you have a lot of HP, maybe you can survive that. But okay, so here is the creepy judgmental tree. What do you have to say about us now? The Tree of Dreams, I suppose that's its official name. I'm sorry, creepy judgmental tree, I suppose we should refer to you as the Tree of Dreams. It's a strange, crystalline tree-like structure with orbs at the ends of its branches. It seems to give off a strange, powerful energy, and it feels almost as if its branches are probing your mind. Yeah, the creepy part. You also get the feeling of standing before a huge crowd, also creepy, as if this tree contains the thoughts and memories of hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, however, what do you have to say about the number of dreamstones that we have right now? The tree notices the abundance of dreamstones that you carry, and you sense a strong feeling of satisfaction. The orbs in your dreamstones resonate, and a portal appears behind you. So if you were wondering, what's the deal with this dramatic circle thing in the middle of this area here that may or may not look a little bit like someone was performing a satanic ritual? Well, it is now a portal. So next time we will head on through here and see what exactly is this area. I think we will find that there is a lot to discover. So with that, I'll catch you next time.